this is the great blessing that one has when working with Sir Elton, because he has this extraordinary ability to look at a lyric, which of course comes to him first from Bernie. Never ever leave out of these conversations, because without those incredible words, I mean, seriously, incredible words, inspirational, engaging, tantalizing, um, provocative words that he writes, this wouldn't happen. And Sir Elton, literally, as I've said so many times, and so many people have said, he sits at the piano and within 15 minutes or less, a song comes out. And it's never ceased to amaze me and ceased to make me feel so privileged to be in a same room with him when that happens. It's like he's a conduit for an extraordinary flash of creativity that comes through. And he forms a beautiful song, and then we are witnesses to it and just take our place in helping the arrangement come to fruition with our and that's why he handpicks his musicians. He knows what we do, and he chooses you because that's what you're going to offer to the work. This was a new environment, because a new situation, because we had two musicians that hadn't been in the band before, but Elton knew very well because he'd worked with them before on previous albums. They were some of the original musicians, along with people like Herbie Flowers, who was the great bass player, and Barry Morgan, the great drummer. These were all musicians that had worked with Elton, and that Elton knew because he himself was a studio musician. As a singer, as a pianist, he got to know these wonderful musicians, and he used them in the early albums. So we'd all spent time together, but this was the first time we were making an album together, and it was very exciting. So there were no musical challenges in the sense of the songs, because Elton, it just flowed out of him as usual, an extraordinary rate of knots. And then the challenges were how to generate new arrangements that were to give Elton what he wanted, this harder edge, this getting into, I suppose, what colloquially called funky music, and edgy music, more with a rock and roll edge. And but the personnel involved were, they were well versed in able to do that.
I was I'm classically trained musician, so Elton would play one of the new songs and I would just be writing the chord charts, so I could learn it instantly, or at least learn the chords. And so I remember it all coming together really quickly. You have a group of really brilliant musicians. I'm not calling myself brilliant, but they were all brilliant. And so learning the songs happened very quickly. And then we would just start doing takes. And as is the case with Elton, he hasn't got a lot of patience. So, you get it right soon, early. And one of the many things about Elton that is so admirable is that, and amazing, that he would never tell you what to play. He would never say, "Oh, well, maybe if you were playing something really terrible, he might say, I don't like that part." But generally speaking, he lets you do what you wanted to do. And I found that just incredibly generous, and surprising that anyone would do that. So on his level. Yeah.
The Street Kids, we knocked that out live in the studio.
It's true.
Yeah, my guitar solo and everything like that. It was all done live.
You know what? That's it, and that was the bass that he kept. I didn't overdub that, so that was the live track. And then Elton would I don't know. He didn't seem to like to do his vocals at 8,600 feet, if I remember right. He would do a scratch vocal, right? But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't recall him doing any keeper vocals. So when we'd come to LA, when we did the backgrounds for, I mean, it's Caleb, Davey and Kiki on a couple, and myself playing, singing backgrounds in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
On all the backgrounds that when you see the credits, it shows which ones we sang. We did that as a group. So that was even the extra thing that we got
Yeah.
that we were singing to the tracks, all of us. It was magic. It was absolutely magic.
The chemistry was amazing.
Yeah.